Welcome to the Korean invite-only online qualifiers. I'm JP McDaniel, joined by Sean D. Apollo Clark. Game number 6 in this series could be the potential final game if Hero takes out Alive. Let's go ahead and get into our map, Shakuris Plateau.
Shakuris Plateau, a map that we rarely see in the recent tournament system, but a map that's still played on ladder, so both these guys will still have a decent amount of experience, not to take away that this map's been used for years now within StarCraft 2. Probably one of the oldest maps, actually, remaining in StarCraft 2. But I expect, absolutely craziness, man. Could be the last game, could, look to draw up the series now. I don't know which way it's going to go, but one thing's for certain, I think this game's going to be pretty unpredictable.
Indeed. Let's go ahead and give some player shoutouts. Up here in the top left-hand corner will be Fanatics Alive as the red Terran. In the bottom right-hand corner is going to be, of course, Team Liquid's very own Hero as the blue Protoss. And let's see if we can get, lucky and see if we're going to have any shenanigans like we have in some of the other matches. Last game, not so much. It was pretty much a through-and-through normal game, of course, until Hero decided to cancel that second forge and switch into the robotics bay.
I doubt we'll see anything on this map, to be honest. I think it's been played out so much that any proxy barracks location is going to be known. I mean, the Zelnaga towers give a pretty good radius of the center of the map, and then it's really only going to be like above the natural for Hero. So I don't think it will be anything crazy. Most likely standard play to begin with. Hero does have a funky pylon placement. Not too sure what that's about. Why is it so far out?
Yeah.
I actually have no explanation for why that's there. I'm not really sure why it is. It does cover the natural ramp. Well, most of it, apart from like a Zealot wall-off. But I don't know what he's really planning with that, to be honest. I think it's just whatever pylon, but I don't know.
Very, very double early gas here.
Yeah, this could be normal, though. I mean, he could go double gas, but the thing is, what's been developing within StarCraft 2 so much recently is if he goes with all 6 in, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But if he goes in with just a handful, then it may not be so much.
Looks like Alive will be doing that one Rax expand, already sending out that SCV. Hero scouted bottom left, did not find his opponent, but now will find it. We'll see if he can trap the SCV inside. Is that SCV is actually going to go out and build a command center. So he will kind of catch a break in that regard. The Marine is out, and that'll actually deny the probe an exit path. So that's another good thing. So far in this game, Alive's kind of catching a break in the opening.
And as the SCV now enters Hero's base, the SCV sees gas, but only 2 in each. So he knows it's not drastically increasing the gas income, but at any second, Hero can go in Vol 3. And any form of one-base tech can easily still happen. So this build, even though it does slow the minerals down just a little bit here, is actually a big mind game play by Hero, which will leave Alive guessing to what his opponent's actually doing.
And this seems to be another big mind game, sending that probe out there to the natural. He looks like he doesn't have any... he doesn't really plan to expand whatsoever. Actually, no, he is going to throw down that expansion. Did he cancel something to build that?
Yeah, he canceled the Stalker. He was building a Stalker, then canceled it.
Okay.
And he is kind of boosting the Warp Gate research out, and then has built a Sentry instead here. So with the Stalker not being on the board this time, he won't really be able to achieve anything, and the Sentry leads to believe he's saving up energy early on. So he may decide to tech pretty fast. We'll have to see if he's going to go back into gas with all 6 shortly. But the initial Zealot Sentry won't do anything to Alive, who he's actually playing very normal 3 barracks, double refinery, which is completely standard.
There's an SCV over at the third base on the east side of this map. Looks like it's thinking of going and returning home, but it might just be sitting in these bushes for a little bit later of a scout. Bunker going down now at the natural, so we will not see any early aggression with a Stalker, or at least Alive's not thinking that he'll be taking any damage. We do already have 2 sentries out. We might just see him go for a little bit of a later timing. With these early sentries, he of course gets them out faster so they can start stockpiling that energy, meaning more force fields later on. That SCV actually denied entry here by these 2 sentries.
And with the Twilight Council just finishing up now, like he did build before those 2 gateways. A Dark Shrine has been thrown down, so you know that's the reason why he didn't get a Stalker. Went straight for Sentry to build up the energy. Because if he's going Dark Shrine, he doesn't really have any gas. Therefore, he doesn't really have any units to defend with unless he builds sentries and saves up the energy. Meaning he won't just have a single force field. He could potentially have you know 2 on each here. So there is no probe on the map though. There's no pylon either. And there are a bunch of Marines making their way across. And here we're actually going to see these sentries come into play. But Hero has warped in another one as well to make sure that this is warded away. But if Alive doesn't go, then that's a successful attack because he's actually caused Hero to use 100 gas, which of course could have been another DT.
And with this robotics facility, it looks like that is going to be the channel that these DTs get over to Alive's base with. We'll see, though. He might not just build a Warp Prism that quickly. He might start off with an Observer. DT Shrine is pretty close to being added on. We see the third assimilator going down now at the natural. And meanwhile, just kind of a very passive game for both players. Really not wanting to commit just yet. But it is approaching that mid game, which you have mentioned so much that Alive just really loves to be aggressive in.
Yeah, and we'll most likely see him add on 2 more barracks to a total of 5. But as the Dark Shrine's finished here, he doesn't really have enough gas to actually warp in any DTs. So that's going to be interesting. That most likely means he'll go for a Warp Prism and use it in the air instead of warping on the ground, which is what we're seeing. And he is making his way across the map here, which looks more like a later 5-gate timing here, which comes, you know, to the later end of 8 minutes here. And Alive is with 3 bunkers. He's set up thinking it's some attack on the ground, and well, it's actually not. So a nice little double fake out, and it will be DTs in the main. And Alive has no idea. He hasn't scanned. He has no idea whatsoever.
Warp Prism is out. Okay, I thought it was like, there it goes. Stopped at the ramp for just 1 second. Do have a forward pylon down here on the low ground, but this Marine is going to be able to take out this probe, and it looks like Hero is going to make the smart decision to lead it away from that pylon rather than sending it over there. He does have map control at this moment, and that is why you see this Warp Prism going out. If he did not, he would of course just have waited or gone a longer pathway, but we're about to see it go into the Warp Prism mode. Morph in some DTs and then load right back up. The army actually of Alive is over here at his natural. We'll see how much damage it could do. Was it against Tasia or was it against Alive where like 1 scan took out 3 DTs?
It was against Alive on Daybreak, game number 1 actually, and now 3 DTs are in and there's no engineering bay. There's no energy. No, there's 1 scan available here. How's he going to spread it? Hero has to spread his DTs out.
Yeah, and already using a stem actually on those forces. Alive taking a little bit of damage. He does have energy now for 2 scans. 1 goes down now in the main mineral line. Oh no, that reactor could potentially be taken out. Will he be able to get it? Looks like he needs about 2 more swipes, and he does. That is a rather annoying blow there. So we see the Warp Prism taking some damage. This means that medevacs will only be able to be produced 1 by 1. Huge salvage actually here, and it looks like Alive is going to go for another counter drop.
And he is trying to do that. The Observer picks it up, just about picks it up, but 2 more DTs are loaded into that Warp Prism. Gonna look for another angle to get in here. Turret is trying to be built in the main, natural, and third. The Warp Prism gets in, drops 2 DTs. But yeah, as you said, is Hero gonna be able to handle this double drop, which he may not have spotted as he isn't warping in anything to defend it?
Apollo, this 1 DT has taken out a reactor and 2 tech labs. I think one of them potentially building, or excuse me, researching the upgrade. Meanwhile, though, the drop of Alive is now in the main base, and there is really not all that much to deal with it here, as the main force is out in the middle of the map. 2 Immortals and 1 Stalker are coming up the ramp right now, but he could potentially take out the Nexus here. DT's trying to be warped in to save it. Will he get it, Apollo? I think he's actually going to have to load up and get away. Those 2 Immortals will deal way too much damage.
Yeah, they do, but he will be able to get away inside the medivacs though, as of course the Immortals can't shoot up. And Double Forge is coming down here for Hero, going over because he doesn't have any upgrades. There's still DTs, well, a DT remaining inside Alive's base here, which has 5 kills. But the income's still really, really good for Alive, and his army's pretty damn strong too. So, you know, as long as he saves up energies for his push out here and is able to scan along the way in case any DTs are there. Actually, hold that thought. There is another drop inside Hero's base, but this won't do hardly any damage whatsoever. But he does see the robotics bay, which means there's a Colossus coming, of course.
Exactly. He sees the tech, that medevac getting very, very close. 3rd CC started here for Alive as he pushes out across the map. Medevac count is only at 3 right now, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that he lost the reactor on the starport. Needs to be careful, though. That is so many sentries here. And, oh, no, Hero actually throwing down the force field at the last possible second. Loses a huge amount of those sentries, but that Colossus coming out is going to do so much damage to the bioforces of Alive.
And the drop in the main, once again, is going to clean up a handful of Stalkers. Immortal will come in to clean absolutely everything up there. But with the Colossus now out, he should be able to do enough damage. But the thing is, the Colossus is very immobile here. And another drop into the main base pylon, picking off a key pylon. And if he gets the one behind it as well, he'll unpower absolutely all those gateways.
And he actually just goes in, snipes that sentry, and he's going to leave one Marine behind. That guy's got to be a little bit pissed off here, facing the entire army of Liquid Hero. Meanwhile, is the DT... Yeah, actually the Warp Prism, I think, warped in some units, but it finally gets taken out here in the main base of Alive. And will Alive actually go for another drop? He does have the Medivacs right outside the main base. Hero is ready, though, with his army already inside of his base.
And yeah, Hero should be able to, he doesn't see it though, that's the problem, because it's right in the corner of his base.
Right.
Alive waits a minute, then stims in, which he does do. Hero, he's going to lose more and more units again.
And loses mostly Warpin units, though. Right now, doesn't really have that. Ooh, good force fields coming down. Doesn't really have that many Stalkers to be able to take out those Medivacs, though, so he could just potentially load back up and get out. But oh no, he's actually dropping a lot of the Marines there, and they are falling very quickly to those Colossus. Already with range, we see Blink being researched. Double Forge going down. Hero actually getting his third base over here. And Alive has had his third CC for some time, but hasn't taken it just yet. Actually, now that I say that, it looks like he's going to be lifting off and taking his third base.
Yeah, he's double saturated on the natural, actually. And we'll have to, well, he will transfer a fully saturated third base over. So like 25 SCVs will transfer there. But again, Alive is dropping the natural of Hero. Units plot down as they do more damage to the probes, get a couple of probes, and then we'll have to pick up and leave again. But as you said, there's no Stalkers, there's no anti-air, it's just Zealot and Colossus here. There's 2 Stalkers. A very strong ground army, but not so good against dealing with these Medivacs. And, well, Alive is, you know, a little bit behind in upgrades. Starting 2-2 just now. Hero has started 2-2 already. And Hero does have quite a powerful army. There's no Vikings out on the map either.
Yeah, he might actually hit kind of the same timing they did last game, where he hit right before those Viking camps out and just destroyed the Bioforces. But these Colossus really don't have that much support units on the ground. He does have 2 Immortals here. Those will, of course, fare very, very well against the Marauders of the Terran army. But he's moving forward. He's got to be careful. If we see a stem in, we could actually just see Alive take out a huge amount of damage on those Colossus. Only 2 Stalkers, actually, in this army. Means those Vikings could deal a lot of damage, and I think that's why we're seeing Hero actually fall back, as Alive is dropping the third base and the natural right now.
God, Alive so relentless with this aggression, picking up so many kills, probe kills throughout this game. 27 probe kills from Alive throughout this game. There's his trademark aggression. It is working so well. Even if he loses units, he's done so much damage. He's going to actually escape with that Medivac again. That's so frustrating. The Hero, who's trying to build up a strong army. I mean, he still does have a very strong army in terms of army supply, even though he's behind. The pure quality of it is higher, with 2-2 just now finishing up the Colossus there. But the big problem here for Hero is the Viking count is increasing 4 every cycle because of 2 starports and double reactor.
Yeah, we might just actually see him get out of this Colossus tech and add on a Templar Archives. Already getting charged right now on that Twilight Council, as well as +3 armor and weapons. But it looks like Alive is going to push out here and try to capture this moment in time before that Templar Archives gets thrown down.
The really big problem for Alive, he's got so many Marauders. He really does have few Marines, and there's so many Zealots here that the Marauders won't hardly do anything, and that will give enough time for a Hero to do, you know, so much damage spread across, considering they are, you know, a 2-2 as well. DT's been warped in straight to Archons to buy himself even more time.
Absolutely. See the Blink Stalkers trying to put some damage into those Vikings, but Alive's not falling for it. A lone Immortal gets thrown up here in the middle of the open field, but now we're actually going to see a big RB engagement. Force field's going down, of course, relying a backdrop for those Zealots. The Colossus falls so quickly, but it looks like so does the army of Alive. These 2 Immortals dealing so much damage as more and more Zealots are being warped in here to give chase to these Marauders in the open field.
Yeah, a little bit too Marauder heavy, I think. And the Immortals came out victorious with 12 kills on one, 10 on the other. They did considerable amounts of damage to the Marauder heavy army. And with 3-3 staring down for Hero, Storm on its way too, he can completely switch over now. Completely switch his tech over. And there's the Ghost Academy down, but only Mobius Rector only just now being started. And Hero's actually survived that attack really well. So even though he is behind, he still has a mountain to climb, but he has the right tools to climb it at the moment. With additional gateways coming down, the superior upgrades, Hero should be able to crawl back into this game, but Alive has to keep up the pressure. Drops, he needs to continue to slow Hero down, because if Hero gets momentum, he won't stop.
The big thing, you mentioned drops, but Hero actually has Templars here ready to feed back any medevacs that he sees, as well as just throwing down some storms. Does he actually have storm? No, it is very, very close to being finished here over at the natural. But we're seeing a fourth base go down now from Hero, as the drop is actually coming in very, very closely. I think it was scouted, though, as Hero is breaking off a small force here to go deal with it.
Yeah, I think that he just is putting units up there anyway, just in case of a drop, rather than it being scouted. And he will find it, man. He will find it. And he's at 3-3 now. Doesn't really want to take an attack yet, because he's only 140 supply. So there is a DT actually on the left-hand side of this map that's going to do a lot of damage to SCVs here.
And he does have another command center down here on the low ground, but it looks like that DT will stop any mining for some time. We're going to have to see some missile turrets going down and a scan to actually deal with this. One DT causing 50 energy. It's such a great trade, guys. If you aren't really using this in any of your play, always try harassing a third base like that. It's so cost effective.
Absolutely, and if Terran players have a new base without any turrets, you can probably just go in and kill everything there.
Yeah.
But right now, Hero has a lot of High Templar available. He has a lot of Storm available. There are a handful of Ghosts in this army. We saw Tasia micro very, very well earlier with Ghosts. Is Alive going to be able to do the same?
+3 about to finish. I would hope that Alive is going to be waiting for that before moving in, but it looks like no, he's going to let the Ghost lead the charge here, trying to get down those EMPs. Feedbacks occurring on 2 of the Ghosts. Only 3 remain right now. Alive cannot be too happy about that, but he does get 1 of those High Templar sniped. He gets 2 more there, but feedback's going down as well. Just constantly trading blows here between the Ghost and the High Templars. Storm's going down, not really doing that much damage to the Bioforces. When will this fight occur? It's just such an elegant dance right now in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and it will have to occur now. There's more High Templar, there's more Storm available. Very, very Marauder heavy army here once again with 3 Immortals and a bunch of Zealots. I don't think Alive can take this fight whatsoever. He's got so many Vikings in the air. There's no Colossus here. And Hero has a very strong army. Great EMP from the flank, but there's still a Storm available.
Absolutely. We're seeing the Vikings actually land down here in the background. We're seeing also Storms right on top of them. It was a great position for Hero to actually engage against those Marauders pressed up against the rocks. We're seeing force fields being thrown down here. Hero's in a tough spot. He's trying to wait for more reinforcements here, but he's also baiting these High Templar. They're so close to being able to storm here. Here's a big warp in of Zealots now, and Alive is the one that's on retreat. But like I said, these 2 Templar are very, very close to being able to storm, and that might spell doom for this army in the middle. Big blink forward to take out one of the medevacs.
Oh, this Ghost though. Oh, so close. So close, doesn't quite hit the EMP. He's going to follow it with a snipe. So more and more units being warped in here. More High Templar. A Colossus is out as well. There's no Vikings left, remember, so the Colossus will help out a bunch here. Hero trying to hold on. Great Storm. Another one needs to come down, and it does come down. And now the Colossus has to get in there. Get off your ass and do something.
Yeah, the Colossus is so far away. A big warp in now. Blink up. That was a great move from Hero. These units might be trapped. He's going to simply load up and go off ground over here into the right-hand side of the map. Another blink with these new warped-in Stalkers. And finally, somewhat of a slowing in this intense action, but Alive has actually had units rallied here in the center of the map, and that is not good. He's losing a small force here, and right behind it is yet again another force.
Yeah, and he has to be careful not to lose High Templar freely as well, but these Marauders will fall down. The Medivacs in the top right get picked off by a Stalker, actually, just blindly, but another one, a drop actually on the natural location is going to do damage to a Stalker. Zealots get warped in to deal with it, and Hero is weathering the storm now.
No. Will he be able to get these medevacs? He gets 1 over at the 4th base. Does not clean up anymore, though, and Hero has pulled himself back in this game, really at the expense of Alive's attack. I think he got too aggressive there, and Hero just kept dealing with it perfectly.
Yeah, and Alive doesn't really have that many barracks, to be honest. He's not really producing that much. If you look at his resources, look how much he has banked up here. And I think he's feeling the pressure too. I think he almost felt that he could have won that game there and then. But Alive is playing well, but Hero playing better at the moment. And great defense over and over. He actually has a handful of stalkers at the north side, the 12 o'clock, doing damage to a base, and he's going to get a kill.
Yeah, it is going to have to be lifted up here. And he will definitely get this into the burning range, as Alive's really not looking to deal with it at all. Of course,
there's two zealots at the 6 o'clock, not 6 o'clock, sorry, the 9 o'clock base too of Alive. No. Great play by Hero, really harassing his opponent.
Yeah, he is really doing a good job here. That command center is going to be saved. Meanwhile, those two zealots are finally going to get picked up here. How many SCVs have been killed here? 27 to 19. It's really been a slugfest in this game 6. Remember, guys, if Hero does win this, he will win this entire region of the invite-only online qualifiers for MLG. And Hero's actually pushing over here at this third base of Alive. It's pretty mined out. This force is really not all that big, but some great storms going down on top of those SCVs.
Indeed, and really nice play so far by Hero. And if units do come to defend that location, they walk into a valley where they will be stormed. And Hero's army's getting very strong at the moment. Alive's losing a lot of economy. Now his money and bank is down to 0. He's going to try and catch these reinforcements off. Can he do it? Is he able to get them stormed?
Ooh.
Oh, great feedback.
And this might be the point that really Alive needs to make right now in this game. But no, the storm's going down as he did not have control of that Zelnaga tower. Hero was hiding behind the brush there, but he's still wanting to cut this army off at the moment. And this is really all he has. 200 supply right now for Hero, 164. 2 command centers were lost in that last engagement. Alive's really having a hard time deciding where he wants to attack, but when you see this many Colossus, it's going to be very hard to do. So many storms coming down on top of Alive's army, and it is getting completely obliterated. I think Hero might be taking this game.
Yeah, 4 Colossus, no answer to them. There's no Vikings, there's nothing. A storm comes down to end the game, and good game is called by Alive.
So Hero takes it, guys. Apollo, what did you think of Hero's play throughout this tournament and the matches that you saw? It seems like his PvT is really one of his best matchups.
I mean, it was nail-biting, man. Went down to the very edge. It looked like Hero could have been pushed back all the way, but his relentless resilience, I suppose you could say, just to never say no. And I think he pulled back a great comeback in some fights. And I think that, yeah, he's one of the best Protoss players in the world. And winning this Korean-only invite, of course, I think that's a great victory.
Absolutely, guys. So that means that Hero gets the #1 seed coming out of the Korean region going into the arena later this summer. And guys, remember, this is all of the action for the Korean region, but please remember to go check out the European and American region over at MLG.tv. And of course, Apollo, I got to give you some shout outs. Where can people go check out your stuff?
You can just go to Twitter, which is DApollo1337, and then Twitch TV, which is Dignitas Apollo as one word.
All right. Remember to check out youtube.com/MAJP for all your state of the game and real talk needs. Guys, it has been a pleasure for Apollo and MLG. I'm JP McDaniel. We will see you guys next time here at MLG.